So hello and welcome to Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where we eventually need to work on the trash we buy on the internet. Case in point, this marine unit here that we featured kind of a couple of weeks ago, that I bought as part of our, marine junkyard hoard kind of thing. So now I need to start working on this unit. And one of the things that I always try to start, and I always make a point of doing this in marine carbs, is whenever you get one of these units, it's very important to look at the catalog and to look at the original setups of the carb. So because now that I'm going to be taking this carb apart, what I'm going to be noting is whether it has a 65 main jet and a 25 power valve, which is the right setup for this carb. So therefore it's quite important that when you do a marine carb, that you are absolutely sure that whatever you're doing in terms of setup for the carb is going to be the correct factory setting, because I've seen, time and time again here in Airfield Mixologist, I got lots of carbs, lots of marine carbs that have been really messed about, incorrectly set up, and then they wouldn't have worked well, if at all, in a boat application. So therefore, that's why it's important to check everything. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be opening this carb to, check that all the settings are there and start, the cleaning and refurbishment process. Okay, so what happened here is I think I spoke too soon regarding the settings, because as you can see, this unit does have a 2.5 power valve there, and it had 66 jets, which is which is fine. If the standards are 65 and it has 66, 1 point either way of the standard is absolutely fine. It's not going to make that much of a difference. But the real issue with this carb was that it was missing the check valve here. Yep, so over here it always has like a check valve in the accelerator pump discharge, and that wasn't there. So again, that was no bueno. So probably that's what it was set up incorrectly, this carb, and that might have been an issue that kept it from being used any further. So you always have to pay attention to this stuff when you disassemble the carbs, to try and make sure if you can achieve an early diagnostic kind of thing. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner and just clean it all up. So I think we got to a nice old kind of teachable moment here at this stage of the build, and obviously it concerns the picture you saw at the beginning when you clicked in this video, which is the condition of the base plate. So let me bring you kind of a bit closer, and I'll show you kind of what I've done, how this applies to Holleys, and how this applies really to every carb. So let me show you. This base plate has been subject to a little bit of remedial work. Why? Because I always tend to kind of check them with a straight edge to make sure that this surface is straight and that this thing doesn't bounce as it doesn't bounce at the moment. Now the reason why I do that is because whilst the carbs are here in the shop, whilst they're here with me, this is the right time to check this sort of things, yeah? Because what you really don't want is to install the carb on the manifold and discover that there's an air leak because your base plate is bent. Again, as I said, this one may have been okay. I don't care. Now it's bent. Now it's absolutely perfect. Why? Because this is the time to do this sort of remedial work whilst the carb is in the shop. Another thing that I do that I don't know if I showed it or not is how I test the floats. Basically, I put them on water and I make sure that there isn't any leaks or air coming out. The other thing that you can do is you can shake it like that, and if you feel liquid inside it, you know you need to discard it. This is no bueno. So these are the sort of things that you always have to check when you do a build, because why? It is easier to remedy the situation now that the carb is in bits than to do it while it's in the boat. Because trust me, that's really bad news for access and all sorts of expense that you would have had to go through to just bolt the carb on the boat. Yeah, so therefore there is a time and a place to do remedial work, and it is right now, which is exactly what we're doing. Well, what I need to do now is to remove the what used to be the J-pipes. Here, remove both of them out, basically the lower bit, and put new J-pipes on it. Now, you could say you don't need J-pipes for the carb to work, for marine carb to work, and that's yes, but I personally wouldn't get in a boat unless these pipes were present. They're there for safety reasons, and I think that for marine carb you need the safety features that were built into the unit from the factory. I think that's very important. So that's why whenever I ship a marine carb, I make sure that it's finished with the proper equipment. And I've had lots of times people asking me, oh yeah, I just want this car, what is it for? It's for a boat, and they want to buy an automotive car. And I said, nope, that's not right. I'm not selling you that car because I don't want to be responsible for you getting into a fire with the in your boat and me being responsible for that. I wouldn't like that. So be careful with marine carbs. Don't accept stuff that isn't, has the safety. I know I'm coming over a bit preachy on this, but actually, well, my point is that there are safety features built into the carb for a reason, and therefore use them. So now what I need to do is I need to start going through the other sub-assemblies. Obviously pop this, and I'll show you a bit later once it's more or less ready to summarize the project. So before I get this unit ready for paint, obviously marine carb needs to be painted before it goes on the boat due to kind of corrosion issues. I just wanted to make a quick reflection about this project and whether it is a viable project for a amateur kind of DIY person. And the conclusion is that no. I mean, this carb wasn't an easy one for somebody that doesn't have a lot of spare parts and a little bit of know-how about how to get them running. So let me give you a flavor of the sheer amount of parts that were required to get this carb to live again as it is at the moment, and I haven't even finished. Well, one thing you may have noticed is that this carb, when it came to me, first of all, it didn't have the accelerator pump arm. This has been added from the Airfield Mixologist parts bin. I had to even add one of these, which is the accelerator pump pivot arm, the pivot that lives here. This was all kind of broken and mangled, so we needed a new one. Again, these things are not necessarily on every street corner. Linkage as well. This is a marine specific linkage, which they are thicker than normal. The fuel transfer tube, it was missing, and the fuel inlet. Again, all of these things, and obviously, well, I forgot about the J pipes. That's another thing that was missing. So all of this tells me that this unit wasn't really kind of a DIY affair, so to speak. And also going beyond that, I think, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't know whether this unit, it was kind of an economical repair in the sense of, if I repair this unit, will the price I get for it be worth my while? Well, maybe not. But the thing is, for me, the reason I've done it is because it is a way that, whilst the unit in itself it's probably gonna be worth just as much as the parts that I'm putting in it, the replacement parts, it still gives me the opportunity to monetize those parts, because I've got lots of spare parts in my parts bin, and therefore they are sitting there doing nothing. And the way I get money is by just putting them into carbs, and then putting the carbs out there, selling them. So therefore, that's why let's say there is a bit of kind of care that needs to be taken when evaluating when something is economically viable or not. So now what I need to do now, the final bit of the process, if you want, is to do the masking of the carb, and to do the paint in order to get it ready for shipment out to the customer. And then I'll show you in the final section, okay, what has been the outcome, and what's the final state of this carb. So as you can see, we got this unit now really buttoned up, mint, and I'll show you a bit closer what it looks like. All of the paint, obviously there's a kind of Leonardo da Vinci a little bit of paint over spray around here, but that in the scheme of things is not too big. And also the brand new J pipes. The reason why I didn't put them before when I did the paint is that it's easier to paint the unit without them on. So, but anyway, now it's done. It's in perfect condition, ready to hit the waves. So I want to say thank you very much for watching this episode. Obviously it will be for sale in the usual place. So if you are in need of a marine carb, you know where to go and look. That's kind of eBay for my carbs. Anyway, I want to say thank you very much for watching this episode, and just if you've got any comments or questions, just put them down in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode.